In the previous examples of calculating the mean, all of the numbers were positive. But the formula for finding the mean can also work with negative numbers. In this video, we'll be looking at examples of data sets that include negative values. Let's start with an example. The daily temperature data for Fairbanks, Alaska, 1 week in January is shown below. What was the average maximum temperature? What was the average minimum temperature? Round to the nearest whole number. Notice that there are two data sets. One for the maximum daily temperature and one for the minimum daily temperature. To find the average of each data set, use the formula for calculating the mean. Before we do that, notice that some of the data items are negative. Let's see what impact this has on the average. Starting with the maximum daily temperatures, we take the 7 temperatures and write an addition expression. The denominator for this ratio is 7. The sum of the numbers is -35. Divided by 7, the average maximum temperature was -5 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's look at the average minimum temperature. The sum of the numbers is -147. Divided by 7, the average minimum temperature was -21 degrees Fahrenheit. In both cases, the average was a negative value. Let's look at another example. In Gloucester, Massachusetts, the height of the tides is based on the time of day and the day of the month. This chart compares the heights of the tides above and below sea level during the full moon and quarter moon. What's the average tide height for each period? Use the mean formula to find the average height for each phase of the moon. Let's start with the full moon. We combine the values that make up the heights above and below sea level and divide by 4, the number of data items. We end up with 18.4 divided by 4, which results in an average height above sea level of 4.6 feet. Now let's calculate the average height for the quarter moon. Combine the terms in the numerator and divide by 4. We end up with 18.7 divided by 4, which equals 4.675 feet above sea level. Both averages are very close in value. Let's look at a final example. The daily temperatures over a week in February in Fargo, North Dakota are shown below. What is the average of these temperatures? Notice that in this data set, all the numbers are negative. This means that the mean temperature will also be negative. And this is because a negative divided by a positive is negative. The formula for finding the mean is shown here. Let's calculate the mean. Add all the negative numbers. Notice that this is written as a series of subtraction statements, and this is just because all the values are negative. There are a total of 7 values as shown here. This is the sum of the negative numbers divided by 7. Rounded to the nearest hundredth, the average temperature for the week in Fargo was -13.14 degrees Fahrenheit.